If you're a history buff, you can't ignore the First World War. This war changed the course of the world in ways no one could have predicted, leaving its mark on every aspect of life. The war that shook the world, changed the maps, and set the stage for everything that came after it. Even today, many events and policies trace their roots back to this period. Let's understand it step by step, from beginning to end. The First World War started in 1914, and honestly, it began with a big, sudden event that shook all of Europe and changed the course of history. The heir to Austria-Hungary, Franz Ferdinand, was assassinated in Sarajevo, and this assassination was the spark that ignited the flames of war. This event alone set off a chain of events, like dominoes falling one after another, drawing the most powerful European nations into war. Suddenly, old alliances and political ambitions exploded in the face of the world. On one side, you had the Allies Britain, France, and Russia. These countries were brought together by common interests and a fear of the Central Powers expanding their influence. And on the other side, the Central Powers Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. Each side believed they were the strongest, and that victory was close at hand. The fighting wasn't just in Europe. Battles also took place in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. The war truly became global, with armies from almost every continent participating. Trenches, tanks, and harsh conditions defined the Western Front. Soldiers lived for months and years in mud and destruction, waiting for an attack or a shell at any moment. Soldiers faced mud, rats, and the constant danger from new deadly technology like poison gas and machine guns. Even sleep was a difficult dream amidst the sounds of shelling and continuous terror. In 1917, America entered the war, bringing with it new soldiers and energy to the Allies. America's entry tipped the scales, giving the Allies a strong boost in their toughest times. By 1918, the Central Powers were utterly exhausted. Hunger, fatigue, and internal divisions caused them to collapse quickly. Germany signed an armistice on November 11th, stopping the fighting at exactly 11 a.m., which is why we remember Armistice Day. The streets were filled with joy, but the wounds were deep. And what happened next? The whole world was asking the same question, and everyone was looking to the future with anxiety. Empires crumbled, new nations were born, and the Treaty of Versailles paved the way for the Second World War. Borders changed, and peoples began to search for their identity anew. One war ended, but the world was never the same again. Everything changed: politics, societies, and even the way people thought about war and peace.